Well, g'day, curd nerds. G'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. And there I am. Hang on, just see if everything's working. Yes, looks like the microphone is working, so all good. Anyway, thanks very much. Welcome, curd nerds, to another episode of Ask the Cheeseman. This is episode 86. So lots of episodes under our belt now. So I think I've even recorded more Ask the Cheeseman episodes than I have podcast episodes. So yeah, go figure that one. Anyway, we've got a couple of new members today. Thank you. These are YouTube members. So they've hit that little join button and pledged, I think it's $4.99 a month. And you get early access to the cheese making videos and stuff like that. So YouTube members today, big thank you goes out to Ruth and to Dominic. Thank you very much for your membership. I really do appreciate it. The video this week on Friday will be the Caciocavallo taste test. So that'll be very exciting. So I'm looking forward to cracking into those cheeses. I'll only eat one. I'll put the other one into the cheese cave. So yeah, that'll be really good. There'll also be a video soon around a giveaway for the vertical curd harp that you would have seen in the jalapeno cheese test. So yeah, have a look out for that. That'll be out very soon. And don't forget, if you want to donate during the show, then there's Super Chat, which is the little $ down at the bottom of the chat box. And all proceeds will go to keeping the lights on and keeping the show running. So that'll be cool. Anyway, I've got lots of hellos to say straight up. Kevin, g'day Kevin. Ruth, obviously, a new member. Bruce, Larry, Deep South Texas. Dundar, Patricia, Jared, Boojar, John, Norella, Mustafa, the Red Pill. Where else we got? Marcia B, Luke, Lincoln. G'day, Lincoln. Kim, thank you, Kim, for being the moderator today, as always. Where else? Oh, Luke says me and my wife Wendy are eagerly watching from the UK. Hello, Wendy. Big shout out there. Wilma Charlie, Vincent Brothers, Aga, of course. Thank you very much. And I think, we got Daniel. Who else we got? That's about it. Gav's not playing yet. Aga, yes, I am. I am playing, and I think everybody else can see. So, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with your internet connection. Okay, so we've got some questions. So let's start off at the top. Where are we? First question's from Dundar. Actually, it's a bit of a statement. It's not a question. So Dundar says, after your suggestion last week, I made 2 blocks of feta cheese and put them in a box with olive oil, corn oil, vinegar and herbs, thyme, red pepper, 5% salt and basil. Can't wait to taste it. It should be pretty good. I've made Persian feta before. The first time I made it, though, unfortunately, I was a bit silly. I didn't keep it in the fridge, and it tasted a little bit ordinary. As in very sharp, tasted a bit like, dare I say, vomit. But yeah, I tried to force that upon Kim and Amy, my daughter, who you've seen in some of the videos, and yes, It was a bit of a mistake. So yeah, don't keep your marinated feta or cheese in the cupboard. Put it into the fridge. Okay. So a lesson learnt, and I tried another batch, and it tasted absolutely amazing. So pretty cool. Kevin says, I have made about 20 different cheeses so far. Lately, some of them are getting tons of blue mold, namely my Parmesan, my Gruyere, and Raclette, and they are all in separate maturation boxes. Why? Mm. There's some blue mold infection somewhere, so I suggest, Kevin, that I don't know if you use Idafor. It's a standard dairy industry sanitizer. So grab yourself some Idafor from somewhere. Amazon will have some, or depends on where you live. So New England Cheesemaking Supply in the US, Glengarry in Canada. Um, we don't stock. I don't stock any here, but I do have a bottle. So I might put it up on the shop. So yeah, so Iodophor will kill off all of the blue mold and all that sort of stuff. It's just basically a rinse. You fill up a tub, you follow the instructions on the bottle, and you put all your ripening boxes into the Iodophor, bring them out. You don't need to rinse them out, and that'll kill off most of the blue mold. Also, it might pay to check in your cheese fridge. Blue mold will harbour on the sides of the fridge and stuff like that. So also, blue mold can also lurk on your fingers. So don't forget when you handle the cheese that you spray white vinegar on your hands in between moving from each box, because it really does, that bacteria. So the mold, sorry, not the bacteria, the mold um, can stay on your fingertips and move from one cheese to the other. So yeah, it's difficult to get rid of, but like I said, Iodophor will fix it up. So that'll be good. Okay. Norella says, oh, okay. Says that same as Dundar, sorry. I made the same before. They're talking about marinated feta. Fantastic. Lincoln's from Stratford, Victoria, which is just down the road. Rocky says, sorry, Aga says, hello, Gavin and Kim. Hello, Rocky. Hello, Aga. Rocky says, Gavin, made your Havarti and Boutiques with raw milk. Why would it taste so similar? Did I do something wrong? Yes. Raw milk already has the lactic bacteria within it. So unless you pasteurize the milk and then add the starter cultures to it, so you're replacing the killed off starter cultures, then yeah, they're going to taste exactly the same. Doesn't matter what cheese you make with the raw milk, it's going to taste the same because the same lactic bacteria are present within the milk. So that would be my main guess anyway. Vincent Brothers say good day from New York. Wilma Charlie says, hello, may firm curds be with you all. Aga says the garotza, I think that's how you pronounce it. Cheese worked out fine. Definitely worth a pop. I can't remember if that came up in the last show. I'll have to have a look. Patricia says, can I re-wax Gouda? Sorry, Gouda, for all those Dutch people watching. Can I re-wax Gouda pieces after the 6 weeks maturation? I don't have a vacuum sealer and want to store the cheese quarters in my fridge. Do I have anything, do anything to the cheese pieces before re-waxing? Patricia, no, you can wax them, no problems at all. So you can wax the little wedges you would have seen in the supermarket, or in some cheesemongers. You would see wedges that have been waxed. It's exactly what they do. They cut up the wheel into all the little bits, re-wax all the bits. You don't need to do anything to it. Just make sure the cheese is dry, and then simply just re-wax them, pop them in the fridge for storage, and they'll keep for a long, long time. The Red Pill said, I noticed my expired Greek yogurt from the store tasted blue cheese-ish. Then I spotted some blue mold on the side of the container. Is it safe to eat? It doesn't smell or taste rancid. Um, well, yeah, it's expired. They put an expiry date on that for a reason, I think. Yeah, look, it'll be safe to eat. Just pull the bit of the blue mold off because it'll just be Penicillium roque 40. Gets in everywhere. Um, but yeah, you can still eat it. Aga says the chat system stops URLs, so I'll have to say I saw a video about paneer and it could be fun messing with. Aga, I've got a paneer video on there somewhere, so I don't know if Kim's already put the link up, but definitely we've got that there. Josh says, when are we getting a cheese making stream? Well, it'd be like a 5 hour stream. It'd be crazy. I'll have to set it up in, I don't know, I'd have to do it on mobile. The battery will probably go flat, all sorts of things. Chaos, cats and dogs living together, all that sort of stuff. But I could do a part cheese stream. I'm making cheese again this weekend, so we'll see what I can do there. However, the time of day that I make it here in Australia may not necessarily be the right time for Europe or the Americas, so maybe in the middle of the night, but we'll see how it goes. Vincent Brothers says, have you finished your extremely spicy triple pepper cheese? I have a little tiny 1/8 of a cord of the wheel left. So I'm saving that for a special day for my next cheese platter. Or when I want to impress somebody. So I'll break that out then. Kim's just saying, Aga, refresh your page. This is like ages ago, 10 minutes ago. Daniel, hi, Gavin. Can I make camembert but with goat's cheese? Love your videos. Learn a lot now. Thanks. Yes, you can, Daniel, but it won't be camembert. It'll be some sort of bloomy goat cheese. It'll do the same sort of things. So it'll ripen from the outside in. So there's no problem using goat's milk. It just won't be called camembert. Technically, we can't call it camembert anyway because it's not made in the Normandy region of France. But yeah, it won't. It'll actually taste sharper than what camembert does. Camembert is more smooth and creamy, so it'll be a little bit different. Swifton, g'day. How are you? Keep up the good work. Good to see. I do find it hard to see you live since you changed time slots. Oh, sorry about that. But this is the what we can determine. Kim and I can determine is the best time slot for the entire planet. Well, the best we can do anyway. Kevin says, is Caciocavallo the Italian version of Tete de Moine? Not sure. Let's have a look. The internets will tell me. No, Tete de Moine's totally different. It's a cheese that you put on a windy thing and scrape off little bits of it. So no, not the same thing. Okay. Let's go back up here. Sorry, I'm way lost here. Stannis says, Lord Cheeseman of House Cheddar, what is the best cheese I've ever had? Well, the best cheese I've ever had, I think it was something like a 5-year-old cheddar, and it was absolutely fantastic. Blew my mind. It wasn't one I made. It was one from an artisan cheesemaker, and it was absolutely amazing. The best cheese, excuse me, the best cheese that I've ever made that has surprised the heck out of me was Tilsit. That's the last cheese that I can remember that just absolutely blew my mind because it was the first washed rind cheese that I'd ever made. So it absolutely did just take my breath away and was amazing. But mind you, every other cheese that I make and taste, you can see it on my face when I do the taste tests. Facial expressions never lie, so you can tell that I like them all. So it's no big deal. I drank what? Hi, Kevin. Who's Kevin? Um, I think that's me. Quick question. Um, During my summer in the US, Nebraska, right, it gets incredibly humid in my area. Do you find humidity to be a problem? Not when I'm making it. It doesn't matter how humid it is. It's no big deal. Um, However, when you air dry the cheese for a couple of days after you've taken it to the press, if that's one of the steps in the recipe, then if it's too hot, the cheese tends to weep fat. So you've really got to dry it off as quick as you can. If that happens, I tend to then use a fan. So, um, as in, like a pedestal fan, or we put the ceiling fans on and it dries the cheese a lot better. So that's probably the best way to do it. Colleen says, "Hey Gavin, from Gillette, Wisconsin. My husband Dan has graduated from your Curd Nerd Academy and is making a Gruyere and has made several using your recipes. Thank you." No, thank you, Colleen, and thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Um, Hopefully you enjoyed the course. I haven't had much feedback. Oh, well, actually, I have. I have had some feedback on the course, and people say it's way too cheap because $150, I think it's Australian, um, is what I normally used to charge for a 3 cheese course. But it's a 9 cheese course and all the basics. In fact, you get so much more than what I could ever present manually, and you can check that out at courses.littlegreenworkshops.com.au. But thanks, Dan, and thank you, Colleen. Archer says, "How do you achieve a very soft feta like Macedonian feta? I prefer this style." Uh, what you do is Archer, you stir it for less time. So the normal feta recipe that I use, you stir it for 20 minutes. If you only stir it for 10 minutes, you'll get a much softer cheese. Brooks says, "Do you think you'll be able to make a really good vegan cheese for a video?" Look, uh, I've been thinking about making a vegan cheese, just a nut cheese. I actually have all the ingredients, so the the yeast, flavoring yeast, and all that sort of stuff. I've even got vegan Penicillium candidum as well, so I could make a vegan camembert made with cashews. I have seen that style of cheese made before, so yeah, I'll put it on my list. Rocky said, "Try to join, but darn credit card company stops me. They think it's a fraud transaction. We'll keep trying to join." Oh, thanks, Rocky. Appreciate it, mate. Mel Malagrand says, "Go ahead and pop my question. I'm planning to use your cheddar recipe and wax sealing it. How long should I let it age to get an extra sharp cheddar?" To get extra sharp, you'll need at least 10 months in the cheese cave at 13 degrees Celsius. So try that. Um, I guess there's probably just stick in more lipase and wait longer. Lipase will change the flavour of the um, of the cheddar. So if you want the true cheddar, don't put lipase in it. Kevin says, "My parmesan has a couple of cracks, and the blue mold is getting in the cracks. Is it ruined?" Um, Probably not, Kevin. What I do now is if you're starting to get cracks in the parmesan, then I would vacuum pack it or wax the cheese and then stop the blue mold from doing anything. Uh, it's difficult once blue mold gets in it. It will impart some blue flavour, but because you're going to age it for a long, long time, well, I hope you are anyway, um, then the flavour of the parmesan, all the lipolysis and which is the fats breaking down, and the proteolysis, which is the proteins breaking down and turning to those flavors, will overcome any flavor that the blue mold imparts. So, yeah, get it into vacuum packing or wax as soon as you can. Jared says, "Can I store blue cheeses in my dry aging meat locker? Will the penicillium end up on my beef?" It probably will. It's likes all sorts of things. It likes bread. It likes meat. Anything that's moist, it'll attach itself to and do all that sort of stuff. Wilma Charlie says, can I use salt that has anti-caking agent in it for cheese? The anti-caking agent is an iodine. You can. I have used it in the past, and it's turned out okay. It hasn't introduced any bitterness or anything like that into the cheese. So, yeah, I have before. It's best if you, um, it's best if you you don't use salt with an anti-caking. If you can get sea salt or something like that, it's a lot easier. I know it might be a little bit more expensive, but I have heard that the anti-caking agent can react with some of the lactic bacteria, so that may be an issue. I haven't experienced it, but yeah, look, I've tried it before. I haven't seen any ill effects, so it's no big deal. Aga says, my Parmesan was covered in blue for about a week for the start. Fought it for a while, then gave up. Oh, okay. Um, uh, Joystein says, hello from Norway. Long time ago, I tried to make mozzarella, but it came out very firm and not a smooth surface. Why? No idea. Not enough information. Sorry, mate. I, unless unless you sent photos and what you did and all that sort of stuff, I've no idea. Um, could have been that the acidity was not high enough. It's got to be around 5.3 to 5 pH for the surface to get stretchy and smooth. If it's too firm, sometimes that indicates that the pH is even higher than it should be. If it's over, if it's about 4.9, it won't stretch as well. So that's all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so that won't work. And Goljan, I think, yes, a Dutch man is watching. Good pronouncing of Gouda. Thank you very much. Clint says, good morning. Good morning, Clint. Kevin, another question. Can I use the blue mold that I scrape off the cheese instead of Penicillium Roqueforti? Of course you can. Maybe store it in something like this is a sample jar, but this is what we ship out to all of our customers who buy starter cultures from us, and we just tell them to put them in these and put them in the freezer. So yeah, put any saved Penicillium Roqueforti in here, and then put it in the freezer, and then when it comes time to make your blue cheese, then you can use that. B. Bates says in French, it is a fromagerie. In Australia, it is a cheesemonger. Yeah, Australia. Yeah, that's the way. Yes, we know that. But yeah, cool. Where am I up to? Oh, Ruth says, hi, Ruth. And you can see Ruth's a member because she's got a different coloured name and a little cheesy icon after her name. Can I wax Gruyere after brining for months? Yes, you can. You don't, with home cheese making, you don't have to stick to the tried and true methods like they do in the big commercial factories where they make these cheeses. Gruyere is normally a really large wheel of cheese, and it doesn't have a tendency to dry out very quickly. However, because we only make small wheels of cheese, it's best to try and protect them as best you can with either waxing or vacuum packing. So yes, you can wax it, Ruth. That's the same as when I say that when you make a Parmesan, make sure that you wax it after about a month or so, or vacuum pack it, because it'll just dry out and be a brick. You won't, you wouldn't be able to grate it even. So yeah, hope that answers your question, Ruth. Neil says, hi Gavin, I made a Monterey Jack many times, but the last one, the cheese swelled and split the wax. The cheese was edible, but very crumbly and aerated. A couple of things could have happened. The starter culture could be a gas producing one, so check that. It could have got infected with natural airborne Propiani Shamani, so that may happen as well. It could have got infected with yeast that could be lurking in your kitchen. You could have just made bread or something like that, and the yeast in the air would have travelled to your milk and all that sort of stuff. So There's 3 suggestions anyway, Neil. Hope that helps out. Kim's popped in the link to Paneer, which happened 10 minutes ago. Ruth says, sorry, no. Solrak says, how long do you think you could typically store a commercial blue cheese? Oh, I've had them in the fridge for 6 months and there's nothing wrong with them. They don't go any bluer. That's for sure. So, yeah, they'll store fine. As long as it's at 4 degrees Celsius, that kind of inhibits most mold growth. Okay. Ruth says, greetings from San Francisco. What is the most reliable thermometer you know? Most of my failures have been from bad thermometers, thanks. Ruth, I swear by the Thermapen, the little red digital thermometer that I use. I often compare it to my dial dairy thermometers. And the funny thing is, they'll be out by 3 or 4 degrees either way, whereas the Thermapen seems fairly accurate. I've tested it in boiling water, and it sits we're nearly at sea level, so it's about 100 degrees Celsius. And I've tested it in ice, and it's 0, so it's fairly accurate. So that's the best way to check it out. Clint says, what is the most overhyped cheese? Well, I think the most overhyped cheese is Limburger, because when I made it, it tasted fine, didn't smell as bad as people said it was. I've had worse smelling cheeses in my cheesecake, that's for sure, when they've been ripening, but Limburger was fairly mild, so I don't know what everybody's complaining about. I think that's probably the most overhyped cheese on the planet. But I could be wrong. I've never tasted commercial Limburger, but I thought mine was fairly accurate. It tasted nice anyway, so that's cool. Jillian, Jan, sorry. Great fan of your channel, Gavin. I actually got some something hollandaise Gouda. Oh, sorry, real old aged Gouda. Yeah, it would have tasted amazing. I've had 12-month-old age Gouda, and it had tyrosine and calcium lactate crystals in it, and it tasted just amazing. Blew my mind. B. Bates says, making blue cheese in Brisbane today. No need for a 30-degree water bath. Yeah, nice and warm. It's going to be 30 degrees here today too. Jeffrey says, just made your jalapeno cheddar. It's sitting on my counter. The start of the first of the 4 days to touch dry. That's great, Jeffrey. Hopefully it all works out as mine does. I can't attest to that yet because it was the first time I ever made it, and first time I ever used raw jalapenos. But yeah, it may take less time to touch dry, so just keep an eye on it. Because as soon as the cheese is touch dry, vacuum pack or wax it and pop it straight into the cheese fridge to a lower temperature. So there's less chance of the jalapenos drying out or rotting. So, okay. Stannis says, what's a cheese that's sharp, a little bit creamy, and a bit of a stink that is fairly easy to make? Sharp, creamy, and a bit of a stink. Oh, I would say Stilton. It's got a sharp bite to it because of the Penicillium Roque 40. Very creamy because of the added cream to it. And it does stink because of the blue mold. So there you go. Kevin says calcium chloride is the same as road salt in the colder climates. Can we use that mixed with distilled water to what ratio? Being negative 15, we have tons of road salt. Yes. So calcium chloride's better known as pickle crisp for those who do preserving. And I didn't know it was used as road salt, but anyway. So it's a solution of 30% solution. So you add, so if you're going to make up 100 mils of calcium chloride solution, you'll need 70 grams of water, and 30 grams of calcium chloride, and then you mix them together. Shake well until it's all dissolved, and you've got yourself some cheese-making calcium chloride. It's that easy. Okay, Stephen says, just got a cheese-making kit that my parents bought from you. Oh, thanks. Pretty damn excited to get cracking with it. Well, get into it because it'll make some amazing cheeses. Thanks, Stephen, and thanks Stephen's parents for buying him the kit. Wilma Charlie says, what cheeses can I make with Flora Danica or aromatic starter culture? Keep up the great work. Pleasure to be here. Thank you. Let me think. What are some good examples? I would make I think Boudicca's had. Oh, could have. I got my mine's. I haven't got all the recipes in front of me, so don't know. But one of my favourites to make is a camembert style with Flora Danica. That actually brings out the extra creaminess and buttery flavour, which is actually absolutely amazing. So you could try that. But I've got swags of recipes somewhere. I just don't have them at hand, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Felicia, my halloumi cooked in 80 to 90 degrees Celsius didn't float. I waited and waited and waited, but it didn't float. What happened? Well, I would assume that it didn't float. That's probably what happened. But no, I don't know. I don't know what type of milk you used. I don't know how hard you pressed the cheese before you put it into the water. Look, sometimes I've had halloumi take up to 50 minutes to float. So I don't know how long you waited, but that's in my experience, that's something there. Aga says thermometers are a fairly linear device, so follow the rule x equals mc plus mx plus c. I didn't want to do a video about that. No. I'll stick to using my thermopen. Sorry, Aga. Kevin says, where did you get your cheese board with the garrote wire, or did you make it? I got it from a friend in Canada called David, and he sent me my first curd harp, and he also sent me the cutting board. So yeah, it was lovely. Archer says, over Christmas, I had this absurdly expensive ash rind Quebec creamery goat cheese. It literally began melting the moment you cut into it. Best cheese I've ever had. Have you made something like this? I know I've made something similar, the Bloomy Goat Blue, which was an ash-coated bloomy goat cheese. And as soon as you cut into that, it melted as well. It was absolutely amazing. So, Archer, go and check that recipe out if Kim hasn't already done that. Aga, Gav is not there yet. Where am I not? Stupid tablet corrected me. Righto. As Kim's mentioned, there are loads of questions today. I'm not going to get through them all, by the way. So if you want yours put to the top, then you can do a super chat, and I'll obviously answer that one straight away. And plus the Curd Nerd sign, the one behind there, behind all the chat bits, flashes. So that's pretty cool as well. Kevin says the thermometer that Gavin uses is available on Amazon for about $20 US. Yeah, it's not expensive. So yeah, and that's all I use it for is cheese making. Very accurate, and you can set it to Celsius and Fahrenheit in the back. And there's a little switch, so it's not just Celsius. So it's pretty cool. Nikki says, "Hi Gavin. In the US, we only have whole milk from the grocery store. So how much calcium chloride would you use for 1 gallon of milk?" By the way, I made your ricotta from whey. It's a real winner. Thanks, Nikki. Thank you. For 1 gallon of milk, what's that? 3.7 litres. So close enough to 4. So for 10 litres, I use half a teaspoon. So I think it would probably be about 5/8 5/8 of a teaspoon for 4 litres of milk. Your daddy says, taste test live, please. Yeah, could do. Ben says, hello, I've just started making bel panol. The problem that I have encountered is the cheese is too wet. I've started to dry it in the fridge. Should I dry it in a different way? The fridge should dry it out because it kind of sucks all the humidity out of the fridge. So that may work. However, with bel panol, and I haven't made it, I've got a recipe here somewhere. Where is it? Here it is. I've got a recipe from cheese making supply company, the New England one, and I'll be making that soon. So I'm going to be making sure that the cream cheese, or kind of essentially cream cheese with garlic and pepper all over it, I'll make sure that it's really dry. So, well, yeah. So that's one thing you should check. Ben's already done. We already done Ben. John says, would you consider doing a video on how to make Himalayan yak cheese chews they make for dogs? I've tried a few times, but never had that much success. I don't have yak milk. Sorry about that. And I don't have a recipe, and it's for dogs, not humans. Sorry, mate. Amela Grand says, thanks for answering my cheddar question, and thank you so much for all the awesome videos I do. No probs. Kevin says, made gouda about 4 months ago and tasted it. It was very strong flavour, not mild like store-bought. Also very crumbly. Ooh, not sure what's going on there, Kevin. Crumbly cheese stems from... where are we? Crumbly cheese stems for stirring too much, so that might be a bit of an issue. Oh, we've got a super chat. Fantastic. Hasn't come up in my feed. What's going on? Let me have a look. It's from Chris B. Thank you, Chris. I've met Chris too, and he's a lovely guy. Hi, Gavin. What is the realistic shelf life of container stored starter cultures, not satchel? Well, Chris, I think that realistic. So I've been using starter cultures that I've been storing in these little things for at least 12 months past the best before date. It's best before, doesn't mean expires. So up to 12 months, and they're viable and they work fine, and I've had no issues with my cheese. So that's a realistic shelf life, as long as you keep them frozen. So I've even used up to 2 years old starter cultures that are past their best before date, and they've worked, Chris. So hope that answers your question, mate. All right. Where are we? Archer says, Gavin, are you going to try out for MasterChef? Not really. I'm not a very good... Well, I'll cook all right. It's not MasterChef material, and is it MasterChef cheese? Then I'll be okay. Tell you what, there'll be long episodes, wouldn't they? Shoe Nice Official Classic uploads by Jeff C. says, I love your channel, bro. Thank you, very nice. Shoes nice. Aga says, wish I could sample all the milk you have in all your parts of the world to compare it with what I buy. That would be excellent. Claudio says, have I ever used monosodium glutamate in Parmesan? No, I'm allergic to monosodium glutamate, and you don't put it in Parmesan. Real Parmesan has 3 ingredients, and that is the milk, salt, and rennet, because they use raw milk in Italy where they make Parmigiano Reggiano. So never put monosodium glutamate in Parmesan. It's not good. Aga says, nothing gets wasted around here. We don't like it. The dogs usually do. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, there's another super chat, or something's happening. I actually haven't seen it. Let's go down to the bottom. Oh, £2. Thank you very much. Treacle B. Appreciate it. And there's no question, but you got the lamp to flash, so that's special. And you got a little star. Thank you so much. Where are we up to? Let me have a look. Sorry, I'm way behind. Oh, sorry. Stephen says, how do you sanitize? Do you use a chemical or just boil your equipment? I boil all the stainless steel equipment. But before I boil anything or touch anything, I make sure I've run it through the dishwasher the night before. So it's all nice and squeaky clean. You've got no bits on it. And then I boil all the stainless steel equipment, which is most of the stuff that I use, all stainless steel. It just boils so easy, including the pot. And the cheesecloth. Don't forget to boil the cheesecloth as well. And anything plastic and stuff like that, I simply spray it all after it's been dried off with a vinegar, white vinegar, and that kills all the bad stuff. So that works very well. Rilu Game says, what's the easiest cheese to make? Paneer probably is the easiest cheese to make. Kevin says, sent you an email about Jarlsberg and got your reply, just letting the rest of the planet know it was frickin' awesome after aging 3.5 months. I'm glad I could help out, Kevin. Dundar says, I made ricotta from every batch, but one batch is not enough to fill the mold. I freeze it right after making and add ricotta from 3 batches and fill the mold to make ricotta salata. Well, that's very practical use of whey ricotta. Alicia says, personality question. If you could come back as a dog or a wolf, which one would you be? That is a good question. Don't know. West Highland Terrier, because we've got one and he's a funny bugger. So maybe that's what I'll do. Kevin says, have the form d'Ambert in brine as we speak. Well done, Kevin. Wesley, I think that's how you pronounce it. Wesley from Porto Alegre, Brazil. I have a question about goat's cheese. When I chop the cheese, I had to slow down. When I chop the shit. Oh my goodness. When I chop the cheese, I have to slow down than cheese from the goat. Sorry, Wesley, I understand. It doesn't make sense in English. When you cut the curd, I'm not sure, mate. Sorry. Kim says, if you want your question answered, use Super Chat. Yes, indeed. It's getting that way. It's 12 past, and I'm only up to 9:55 on my little chat box. Levy says, man, love watching your videos. Thanks, Levi. Sorry, not Levy. Agus says he's still not here. He's slugging a glass of wine and eating some cheese and crackers while 2 makeup artists do their work. You're funny, Aga. Kevin says, could you make a video regarding starter cultures and do a comparison between Sacco and Vienna and Mad Millie and the difference between the numbers on the packets? I have done a culture video already. I haven't compared the stuff. In fact, it was a comparison. It actually had the different main types of starter cultures and the different lactic bacteria that are within them all. So if Kim could just find that video and pop up the link if she hasn't already. So that was around starter cultures and stuff. Can't remember the name of it. Xenophon, I think that's how you pronounce it. You are the best cheeseman. Thank you very much, mate. Dundar says, solution density ratio, I believe, can be calculated in this way. Soluble salt versus solvent. 30% solution is 30 grams of calcium chloride dissolved in 100 grams of water. Oh, okay. All right, maybe I got it wrong. But yeah, try that. Stannis says, I've got an idea to make a goat's cheese that has a bit of salty brine with chunks of bird's eye chili in the wheel. What would you call the new cheese I'm trying to make? It'll be spicy, sharp, and stinky. Oh, I'd leave the name to you. Oh, another super chat. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Anna says, do I like fish sticks? Oh, I suppose. I haven't had any for a while, so that would be, it's been ages. It's a strange question, but thanks, Anna. Yeah, fish sticks, nice. Um, I've got to get back to where I was now. That's funny. Um, Kevin says, do you know how to make mother cultures, or is it worth just leaving it to the experts? Leave it to the experts. Uh, you can use kefir grains um, to make some starter cult. They actually, kefir grains have lactic bacteria within them, both thermophilic and mesophilic, so you can use those, but don't make your own. Even mother cultures themselves are come from sachets to start with that you just mix with milk and then you freeze them. Um, so it's best to leave. Look, the little sachets don't cost very much. Keeps the price of your cheese down anyway. So I wouldn't try it yourself, Kevin, unless you really want to. So just use raw milk. Um, it's full of lactobacteria in itself. So just make the cheese with milk, salt, and rennet. Larry, Deep South Texas says if you mix your own calcium chloride solution, just know it does go off heat. I was surprised. Yes, it does put off heat when you mix it up. There's a chemical reaction that happens very similar to when you add caustic soda to water. Okay, Treacle B, how much does it cost to ship to the UK, please? Depends on the weight of the package. Check it out in. Oh, Kim's already answered the question. Don't worry about it. Check it out in the checkout. There's a calculator. Oh, sorry, in the cart there's a calculator, shipping calculator. Kim's put up the link for the Bloomy Goat Blue with taste test. Auto Monkey says thanks for all the info. You beautiful cheese man. Thank you very much. Calcium chloride loves water a lot. Takes a lot of energy to make it let go. When you mix it back, the energy comes out as heat. Indeed, it does. Kevin says, "What's the progress on the new book?" I'm very ashamed to say that I didn't work on the book during Christmas because I actually I took a conscious effort to not do any work while I was on holidays. So I will be getting back into the book and hopefully finish it off soon. Agus says the chat really hasn't started, so unlikely you'll get an instant reply from your $5. Agar, I don't know what's going on with your stuff there, mate, but everything's been going very well. Greetings, Raphael says, Raphael, I think that's how you say it. Greetings from Poland. G'day, Raphael. Kristen says, when will you be doing a taste test on the jalapeno cheddar? In 3 months. I'm going to let it go for 3 months. I'll do a taste test then. Then I'll re-vacuum pack it again, half of it anyway, and then I'll test that again in 6 months. So, but if it tastes terrible, then depends on what the flavour is. If it's too bitter, then I'll have to age it longer because proteolysis hasn't finished correctly. So that's what I'll do. Drew, Andrew, how are you, mate? Appreciate you being a member all these times, and you've been a member for 4 months. That's fantastic. Thank you, Drew. I know Drew personally. He's a good friend. Kevin says, could you get Mad Millie to ship worldwide? You have a lot of influence. Well, Kevin, we ship worldwide, and we stock all the Mad Millie stuff that they've got. So, yeah. They don't ship worldwide. They only have separate companies within the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. I don't think they've got an arm in the US yet. So, but we ship worldwide. So, Chris says, "Did my super chat go through?" Yes, it did. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate your $5. Kim says, Gavin is live now and everybody can see him. Not sure what's happening to you. That's correct. Kevin says, almost forgot, how are things going with your CPAP machine? What's going on, doggy? That's all right. Go and sit down. Going fine. I've been sleeping very well and it works well. And yeah, took a little bit of while getting used to it, but yeah, all things going well. Thank you for asking, Kevin. Appreciate it. MovieBot says, good evening from the UK. G'day. Chris says, nope. Oh, it came through, Chris. Aga said, nothing here at all. Using Ubuntu, Firefox, no video. I'll navigate away and back and see what it does. Oh, sorry, mate. Anna says, what's my favourite sharp cheese to make or to eat? Favourite sharp cheese? Ooh. I do like a good Romano, and the Pecorino Romano, the Romano I made with sheep's milk, as it's traditionally made in Italy, was very sharp and it was really amazing. It actually had it's like a gritty texture, a lot of calcium lactate or tyrosine, I think it's called tyrosine, the little crystals in it, and you could really feel the crunch, and it was really, really good. So that was really cool. Treckleby says, that's okay, Gavin. Okay, thanks. Stephen says, I forgot to add Meso 2 to my Monterey Jack. It formed up well and I've cloth banded it and it started to get some green mold. Should I be worried? If you didn't add the Meso Philic to it and you used raw milk, it will be fine. If you use pasteurized milk, then it won't be fine because it'll have no starter culture in it whatsoever. And it can get infected quite easily because there's nothing changing the lactose into lactic acid. That's the lactic acid that helps preserve the cheese, as well as the salt, of course. I would eat it right now, fresh. I wouldn't even worry about ripening it because if it's got no starter culture in it whatsoever and you use pasteurized milk, it'll be a failure. Unfortunately. Sorry about that, Stephen. Archer says, Kim says, is everybody getting Gavin okay? Aga fixed his problem. Going back and forward in Firefox made Gav appear, stuck at the intro screen until that. Oh, okay. That's good. Glad it's fixed. Archer said, weird question. Anyone know what the hell kind of cheese you would make with coconut milk? I'm in Bangkok. I don't think you'd be able to make any cheese with coconut milk. Maybe a vegan sort of style cheese, but remember, normal milk. What the starter cultures need is the lactose in the milk to develop lactic acid, and then once it does that job, it then breaks down into enzymes, which then break down the fats and the proteins. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's what happens. And there's another super chat. It's all happening today. Paul Hardy, thank you very much for your super chat. I'll just have to manually turn the lamp off. But thank you so much for making the sign flash and donating your $1.99 US. I assume that's what that is. But really appreciate it. And you get a lucky star. Look at that. There you go. Okay. Everybody says they can hear it and it's fine. Chris B says, oh, and is there another super chat? My goodness me. Dundar, thank you very much for your super chat of $1.99 US as well. Really appreciate it. And he says, thanks for everything. Thank you. Really appreciate it. We've got 7 minutes left and there's no way I'm going to get through all of these questions. So let's just have a look. Hang on. Teddy, what do you want? Sorry, this is what happens when you have a live stream and there's dogs in the room. Right, all dogs out. Come on. I'm back again. Right. Don't know where I got to. There is a delay. Yes, there is a delay. Sorry about that. Red Wizard says, "Hello, Gavin. My wife and I recently tried making cream cheese using a Swiss style recipe, but it came out more like cultured butter than cheese. Do you have any suggestions where we went wrong?" Um, no, because I don't have the recipe in front of me and don't know the steps that you took. I've no idea. Try the cream cheese recipe that I use. I just use milk. I don't use any extra added cream, so there's no chance it's going to turn into culture butter. Kevin says it's illegal to sell raw milk in Canada. Yes, it is, and it's illegal to sell raw milk here in Australia as well, in some states. So if you can find it, that's you've obviously got your own animals, or know a very naughty farmer. Okay. Aga says, the calcium chloride took me a while to work out. I posted it 100 mils water, 66 grams of calcium chloride. All right, to work out 30% solution. Well done. Paul says, I just wanted to add a picture, but what happened to my Colby cheese? It's turned into a football shape and full of mold. Greenish and white with some black. It's been 33 days of aging. Sounds a bit gnarly to me. Yeah, shoot me a picture. Go to the About tab of the channel, and and you'll see my email address. So shoot me a picture, Paul, and I'll try and diagnose it. Marcia B. G'day, Marcia. Currently have kefir, camembert, and Limburger in my cheese cave. Well done. Yeah, so there's a great little book, and I've only got 4 minutes, so I can't really tell you too much about it. It's by David Asher, and it's the Black Sheep School of Cheese Making. What's it called? This one here, I'll put the link, I'll put an affiliate link up, but it's The Art of Natural Cheese Making. I think I might have some of these in the store as well by David Asher. He swears by using raw milk and kefir grains and a few other things to make cheese. And he does, he tours around the world teaching these methods, so pretty cool. Careless Creation says, what's the best starter cheese to make for a noob? Try paneer. That's the best. You'll get some good flavour and tastes really nice. Just check out my recipe. I think Kim's put it in the link already. Archer says, I went to live in Toronto and went to Z Buffalo for raw milk. That was pretty cool. Where am we? DIY says, where am I from? Australia. Nicole says, hi, Gavin. Just want to say I love your videos from over here in Scotland. Thank you, Nicole. So satisfying. Keep up the great work. Excellent. For your info, Mad Millie's recent moved head office to Amsterdam. Oh, there you go. Very cool. Yeah, because they got bought out by a company called Bevy. I think that's what happened. Moviebot says Roquefort is the king of cheeses. All that info. Anybody got any more questions? And I'm plumb out of time, so it'll be next week unless you quickly do a super chat. Kim's given me the wind up already. So don't forget to visit our store if you're in the market for any supplies. We do ship globally, except for about 5 countries that their customs don't let us ship in cheese stuff. You can support me over on my Patreon page or in YouTube memberships. I'll take it any way I can. And don't forget the merch store, where you can buy cool mugs and stuff like this. Certified Curd Nerd. I've got Cheesy Chair of Wisdom and all sorts of good stuff there. And Kim's put the link in our shop to the Art of Natural Cheese Making. Very good. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. And I think that's about all we got time for. Thank you so much for coming along. Without the show, without your questions, the show wouldn't go ahead every week. I think we had a lot of people, I think up to 70 on the stream, which is cool. We've got 66 live now, which is, oh, it's actually 56. Something wrong with my little counter thing. But Yeah, all good. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.